What's up, kittens and intergalactic family? What's going on? This is officially, we're here. We're in 2024. And it's been, my catchphrase for this year is, it's incredible because the experiences, yes, we have a cat viewing window here. The experiences that have been happening collectively through just these few days, I'm definitely going to talk like the Cat Williams experience. I think is emphasizing the age of Aquarius of it's the truth is here. Justice, Libra energy of the scales of justice. People are really, the collective is awakening, and it's incredible to be witnessing. There is just a quantum possibilities of how the rest of this year is going to, what the reflection of the year will be for January 1st, 2025. Quantum possibilities of what these key moments in the collective and individually will be in regards to this energy. It's absolutely incredible. And one of the things that I was reflecting on, this was the chain of events that got me to this sitting down in my camping chair talking about this. I was listening to Oracle Bay 444. I was listening to one of her readings, and she said like some sort of phrase that then triggered me to think about Seal, Kissed by a Rose. So then I put the song on because when I was younger, 90s baby, when I was younger, I remember that song being on the radio because I believe that Seal is or was married to Heidi Klum, who was the host of, what was that fashion show on Bravo? Trying to think. That show was very popular when I was actually in fashion school. So it was something that was very much on my mind, and now I cannot think of what the name of it is. Anyways, it's where they, the designers go and have like different challenges. Anyways, that's just like a pop culture side tangent. The main reason of this is I was reading through the lyrics and they seemed a bit like more obscure, Kiss of a Rose, than I felt like straightforward. It was making me think of actually like the sense of sometimes the sense of energy frequency that I get when I'm actually like reading Grateful Dead lyrics as well. And there's like, I think it might be part of the reframe or the chorus where it says the word bloom and gloom. And I thought that was interesting that they were visually very closely looking due to the way that they're both spelled. And then I started thinking like the words of this song and then how I was like resonating with them. And even though I think that the song is like a frequency, at least in my universe, is like a love song, I was then contemplating this concept of bloom gloom. And where I am right now, it is like, it's been kind of rainy, sporadic sun, and the temperature is definitely changing to a more cooler climate. And I've been thinking about how it's like just been like overcast. And I had been watching last night before I went to bed, Black Magic 363. He was having a live with, I think her name is Vicky. And he was talking about how manifestation happens in the dark and then will come to the light. And I was thinking about that conversation and then this bloom, the word bloom and gloom, and how together like a bloom gloom of where I am right now in this reflection of transition, where I know that I have entered into a new frequency, a new quantum reality with many new things happening that I have manifested, that I have been, like, I'm now living in these manifestations that I have been working on and changing my own energy and working through my own process to get to realize it here in the 3D, the secular. They're here, and I'm very excited about that. And I have been, and a lot of internal work that I was doing the last week of 2023 was really purging and seeking assistance energetically to manifest and maintain this new frequency to continue forward in this quantum reality. Because Kim Velez talks about this all the time, where people can manifest things in, and it doesn't mean, like, that's great, and then the forgetting the part of the universe to say, please help me maintain this manifestation and multiply exponentially to continue to be the new normal, the new status quo, the new foundational baseline expectation. So that way, all the other manifestations that require this moment of building, of this particular building block, can still be there and be there steady. So that way, as it continues to build on top, I know all the way down, I'm grounded into that. I'm securely grounded into all my past versions of myself to maintain and manifest even more exponentially, multiply exponentially these experiences. So I was thinking about this bloom gloom and how, like, these words together, because as I am in these manifestations, I got a little bit on a tangent. I remember where I was. That the last week in 2023, I was really working through purging, cleansing, clearing, releasing, identifying any last minute things of that version of me that I knew was transitioning very soon, because I knew dates of certain things that certain manifestations were going to come into my reality, so I could prepare for that moment. That, is there anything that I need to work on before this time to release, so I can keep moving forward to, again, maintain and multiply exponentially? And a lot of random people, places, things, mindsets, memories popping into either my mind or my reality. Such as, like, even right now, that song Seal. I haven't heard that song for a very long time. I cannot quantify, because I'm not certain of the timeline. However, it's been a very long time. However, it brought me back to driving around in the car with my mom. So I thought that was, like, a very interesting, just, like, moment, a memory to come back and be spurred by, as I mentioned, the pathway that I got here. So, in any case, I feel like this moment of where I am is really a bloom gloom, where I'm blooming, I'm growing, I am in complete receptivity of my manifestations, instructions, pings, updates, anything that the universe wants to provide me to support me with continuing on this journey of completely aligning to source and the brotherhood as one through unconditional love. So working through things that are blocks for me to be able to have unconditional love, and providing me with opportunities to be the person I say that I am, a person who has unconditional heart in my heart towards all my brothers, and can hold the space and grace for everybody, regardless of what societal norms or status quo says should be the way. I can hold all of the realities in unconditional love. That is what I am working towards. Shiva Rasa, in her virtual self meditation, which I highly recommend, it's 20 minutes. I love it. I do it while I'm walking, speak it out loud. One of the lines is something along, may I see everyone through the eyes of you, source. Something of this. And truly, may that be the case. May I cleanse through all of the programming, internal, external, whatever it may be, the intergenerational trauma, the ancestral history, whatever it may be. May I continue to move through all of that with love and not friction. Like, may I continue to be the water that flows over the rocks rather than the rock that's stuck in the process of moving downstream. And also understanding that everybody has their part. There are moments that need to be worked through, and sometimes those lessons will keep on coming. Otherwise, again, going back to that foundational self sense, I was thinking about this the other day of having the awareness that if a test keeps happening, one, my soul has already contracted for that. Like, this is my new thought process to comprehend this experience of why do tests keep coming back? Well, people, I'm going to just generalize and be like, I've heard through other content, I have heard, I'm going to make this sound better than what I was going to originally go with. I have heard through different content that I do not know specifically who, just I know through other content, I have heard the sense of, man, I don't want to forget this. Dang, sometimes that happens when I'm trying to over-explain myself, rationalize why I'm saying what I'm saying, then I forget what I was saying, and it's just like, now I gotta wait to see if it comes back. Anyways, non-attachment. The gloom. So as I am expanding and receiving and moving through all these experiences, I'm also remembering details from my past selves. Happy, sad, confusing, uncertain. There's just like people, places, things, mindsets. And I started a new contract this week. So I've been meeting like a lot of new people. So I have been working through like my introduction, like how do I introduce myself, and what are things that as a first impression I get the opportunity to present myself as and be like, these are important things that I feel are important about me, and say it confidently and fluidly and knowingly of like, this is who I am, and have it be like an authentic reflection. I had this one introduction on of course it was like my one and only video conference meeting of this whole week. Multiple people that I'm going to be supporting, and I got distracted by their facial expressions, and I kind of forgot because like I forgot that even though their faces are making their faces, they might not even be actually listening to me. And I think this is very true this is true generally. This is, I think, exceptionally true when it comes to like digital, like remote work. My hair is like not keeping this hat on. Okay. I just felt like I was yammering about myself. It is what it is. I mean, I'm going to move forward, you know. I'm not going to perseverate on that very strange moment that I had of like, who am I? What am I trying to say? Because I was reading too much into people's facial expressions. And at the end of the meeting, somebody said, we asked for a miracle and we got a princess. And I said, here I am. May we manifest all the miracles together through collaboration. And I think so far these are the vibes I'm getting. I'm happy with this experience, with this contract, to see, you know, how it goes. The last contract was super dope. Like I'm continuing to manifest in very fun contracts that align with my lifestyle. And I think that for a while, I didn't really know what I wanted. So I just was like always seeking, which I think my internal curiosity, I don't want to use the word internal. I'm not sure yet. Maybe my intuition and curiosity have always propelled me forward to explore different areas of work and career, and and education and all of these things. And now to like have landed here in this moment, in this contract, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like I would not have imagined all of the ways that I got myself here. And I'm super grateful for the pathway that got me here. And again, going back to that gloom of I'm in this blooming moment of my life, gratitude, love, like such a very, like I have a very high, stable frequency of self-discipline, self-love, self-esteem, just like self through source, opposed to it just being self through self. Like I have this very consistent relationship that is supporting me in a way that in application, like feels better in application than in theory. Like I've been doing like so much self-work of reading and listening and journaling and exploring and having cosmic conversations, and even through YouTube videos of like these self-reflections of all of these things that have happened in theory. Now I'm applying it and it feels so yummy because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's working. Like the ability to flow into a sense of internal validation, even if previous me who had experienced these external experiences may have felt the need to turn on the people pleasing or turn on the performer or turn on whatever maladaptive coping mechanism that used to be the standard is not needed anymore. In the sense that I have done the work to recognize, and now because my internal self has healed those activation points or trigger points that in the past, if that would externally happen, then internally this was like the pathway of automatic reaction. Now I'm having a different automatic reaction. And that is because I am not relying on myself to know what to do. I am able to take that pause and be like, source, hey, like, how should I move forward? Like, I need a sign or help. like communicating that and communicating it in a way that I'm asking, and then I know what to look for in the sense of receiving that response to move forward. And this time up to now has allowed me to work through that. So again, I'm blooming. And the gloom part is, for me, that sense of taking it back to Black Magic 363, where he was saying that like manifesting in the dark to bring it into the light, where the manifestations, the mindsets, behaviors, whatever it is that I am desiring and what I'm needing for these steps that I'm going, the toolbox that I need, and that's inclusive of all the accessories, the mindsets, the behaviors, the people, the places, the resources, the energy, whatever that may be. In the dark, the gloom part is that gray. Like I'm thinking like now, like I've been in a lot of overcast gray. And I'm like, in this gray part where the gratitude is, the love is, and so is the sadness. It's just like a conglomeration of all these emotions of that have what has been purged, what is continuing to purge, what is nearing its purge, and also what is coming through. Those new ceilings, like the change of guards in this moment is happening in that. I keep doing this because I feel like it's almost like a gray rainbow. All the shades and hues of gray in a rainbow. And as it's coming from the dark, it's going through this gray, and then it's going to slowly start, the light's going to come, and then it's going to be continuing to be illuminated by the internal generation of my love, self-love, of my light is going to illuminate that part of color that is what I am desiring. Like that is the reality that the color spectrum that I am manifesting. It's coming in here. So honoring that concept of the gloom of, even though I am recognizing that I'm in the manifestation and I'm creating this reality and it's coming and it's settling and I'm building on the strong foundation that I have in source and within myself through internal validation and self-love and integrity and being the person that I say that I am, making those choices, putting my marbles into those fish jars that have those labels of self-discipline, self-mastery, love, kindness, curiosity, unconditional love. Like, as I am continuing to choose all of these things, even if the external reality is continuing to show me moments of similar times where past me would have different frequency me, different radio station me would have chosen and reacted. It is a reminder to me of my self-growth, of my self-realization through this process. And that, yes, I am doing what I said that I was going to do. I'm continuing to move forward 1% every day, Atomic Habits, James Clear, 1% every day. And when I look back to 2021, when I was like really getting into all of this self-work and mindset change and just allowing myself to be guided by the universe to understand all that it is that I needed to kind of like catch up on in that time. It almost felt like a remedial class of I needed to get all these skills. So I just was like, all this content, all of this information, all these questions started coming up. People in my life leaving, people in my life coming and going, and just navigating through all of these different things that I have navigated through. And to be here and now to have those experiences being provided as an opportunity to be the person that I say that I am, who I am now, and handle them differently is like a whoa, like that's so cool. Like I see myself and what I've done. And now I'm going to continue to move forward for whatever else is coming up. So really this whole self-reflection has been prompted by the past 2 weeks or so of the more recognizing in my 3D secular reality the manifestation in the external of what I have been doing. And I was thinking about this a lot due to some family trauma that had happened, and also again like this gloom of a place that was very special and sacred to me as a child growing up also became the area scene of a violent crime in my family. And having this sentiment of knowing this gloom of having this sentiment of understanding all of the love and light and joy and playtime that I had at this place, to then also understand that I wouldn't have known at that time of how that space would then kind of transform or be given additional, I don't want to say transform, because I want to maintain the love and the light of what those positive memories were. So I'm going to say increase the meaning of that place, which I guess even that, this is kind of a side tangent, I'm just going to say it anyways. It's kind of like a favorite restaurant with a past partner. It's like, are you never going to go, like, am I never going to go back to that restaurant just because that was like the place that I used to always go with my partner? If the food is good, I'm going, boo. So it's kind of like that in a more like lighthearted way, to be a synonym to this experience of this. And this is why I'm sharing about this particular place of even like maintaining maintaining the multiple experiences independently rather than letting one overshadow the other, and acknowledge and hold space for both of them, that these are things that happened at that location. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm thinking of a canal I was thinking of a canal the other day, and this is something that where this location is, there's a canal nearby that I would frequently go to just watch. And even before and after the violent crime in my family, I would still go there for reflection and just to kind of have a sense of recalibration, to see the gates. And the gates are very, very strong, and the current is very, very strong. And I was thinking about the idea of the water flowing just back and forth and being that water, and how this sense of stopping of the water to change the current. At least that's what I think a canal, like the gates at a canal do, is that they're open and then they have to close to support the boats moving in and out. Something of this sort. In any case, having the canal open and slowing down and really just like having to push that resistance. It's like, I can't even imagine like the engineering that goes behind a canal to be able to literally a place where the water is flowing, stopping it. And it's deep. There's a lot of water there. So it's just like absolutely fascinating to me. It's incredible. So thinking about this gloom idea of, this is like the moment where the canals are opening and the water is slowing down. And it's the changing of adding in all the things that I want, that I say that I am, and identifying and illuminating and purging and releasing all the things that I no longer am, because I've traded the new version of mindsets, beliefs, behaviors, people, places, things, experiences, adventures, curiosities in for the old ones that were at a different radio station, at a different frequency than where it is that I am headed back. Source, headed back to as source, is unconditional love. Like, this is the trials and tribulations and experiences are to continue to give me the opportunities to see when unconditional love is expressed and when it is not, and how to alchemize those moments in my own life, internally and externally. The canal. So considering the canal of the gates just opening up and stopping the flow of past behaviors, past mindsets, just resetting, and then allowing for the harmonization and then the mixing of both sides again to let the water continue to flow. Because I think that's something also, well, not I think, I know, that is something that recently has been coming up for me is, I feel like so, and I guess like this would be with Carl Jung. Also, I just want to say, because no one ever, I don't want to use an absolute. Most people do not mention that Carl Jung was racist. Like, incredibly racist. So in the sense of his theory and his application of his work I think the disclaimer needs to be added to the fact that due to his personal perspectives in the world, and again, unconditional love, maybe racist, let me use a different word than racist. He did not express high levels of unconditional love towards individuals from the African diaspora. And this has been documented. And I think that's important to consider when talking about his work, because that I feel as though that is an impact on how he moved about and his thoughts and his processes. Anyways, the reason why I was talking about adding that disclaimer about him is because I want to mention like the shadow side of so much of past me had really just like instead of just acknowledging these parts of me, that these representatives of me that I exhibited and also didn't really know how to manage internally, let alone when they would come out externally, all most due to childhood grooming and childhood conditioning and childhood, because children are sponges. So the perspective that I have taken is that a lot of my behaviors, both positive and maladaptive, come from that of the exact level of all of my caregivers and the social media and media content, music, songs, TV, peers, all of that was the conglomeration. I was the conglomeration of all of those inputs through the perspective of source. Like, he was like source, omnipresent, not necessarily he or she. Source, all of these check, all these things that I went through, that particular combination of options, all those lived experience for me collided with all of the experiences of the people around me and all of the things that I was engaging in to create the perfect conditions for the things that my soul chose beforehand to figure out of like, okay, these are the things we're gonna go earth side, and these are the things we're gonna work through. So anyways, the shadow side. I don't know why I said half of that. It's staying. Less editing is key because I have a high level of resistance when I'm just doing a real world confessional style video. And then I need to like chop it up. I really, it is a high resistance point for me. I'll do it for a vlog. It's just like when I'm sitting down and I'm just sort of like having a stream of consciousness, I am not interested in then having to go back and then edit. And I've really had to get over myself for this because I was like feeling multiple horns honking. I was feeling like very self-conscious about that. And then I was like thinking about how many people I watch go on live. And I'm like, at least I am just having the conversation with myself. I'm not having like external input right now of other people listening to me talk at the same time because I already go on my own tangents. Can only imagine if I'm like now seeing like scrolls. So shout out to the people who out there, especially like tarot readers who are like literally reading the cards, getting downloads from source, and then getting external input from other souls. It is fascinating to me. I'm not there yet. I'm here real world style. This is my preference. That was a really big tangent. What else do I want to say before I sign off here? Gloom. Yeah, I'm considering this moment in my life as a gloom, where I'm blooming, I'm growing, I'm receptive, I'm receiving, I'm in manifestations. The manifestations are coming in. Things are being alchemized into my highest aligned self. And in addition, I'm also at the end of many mourning periods of who I used to be, people in my life, mindsets, behaviors, even places, styles of living. I'm at the end of the mourning period. I am releasing and purging those and integrating that back into myself as not who I am now. However, as one of the other representatives that is of myself, of it could be labeled myself in 2023. It could be, there's just so many different ways to label and categorize, like even this moment right here, right now. So for me, it's just releasing those things and those labels and just really focusing on being here and being present in this moment and accepting the fact of, again, I'm on this journey of unconditional love and reminding myself that I can pause and that I can ask source for support to move forward in a direction to ensure that I am being obedient and aware at the same time, like obedient to the path to be on, and also being aware that I am on this path, because sometimes the secular world can really just, I've been there before, put me to sleep, and I am then not in the divine conversation and realization of many different things because I have kind of checked out. So allowing this gloom time to not take me too far to the secular 3D perspective. However, allowing myself to feel the feelings, because I did sign up to have the human experience and experience a spectrum of emotions and adventures and awakenings and all of that good stuff. So allowing that to happen while also being more conscientious, more in tune, more plugged into my highest self and the pathway of source. Yes. Blessings and abundance to you all. I saw a YouTube thumbnail and it was like, we are living in 2024, the year of the Truman Show. And I I do feel that we are at a curious precipice in this experience of, I just say, put your energetic seatbelt on because we's about to go for a ride internally as a self in your universe, with the people in your immediate universe and the collective as a whole. Every single thing that we have, the collective, the we as the collective, that we have been working through, the signs and synchronicities, this awareness, the opportunities, the questions that have played out within oneself and within the collective and on the world stage. Like, we're about to get some answers. We've been asking. We've been saying, like, hey, source, what's up? Are you what are the answers? We need help. What is the signs? What do all these signs really line up to equal? Well, I feel like we're about to find out a lot of those answers. We're going to be going over the answer key. This is Source. Source is like, we will be going, in 2024, we will be spending some time to going over the answer key. Do you guys remember that? I don't know if, at least some of my teachers would do that. Like, we would get a test, and then shout out to all the teachers that actually even went over the tests after giving them back to help get some clarity on the ones, the wrong answers. That's considerate. Some of my teachers would do that. They would give back the test, and then we would go over based off of, what to see, like, where we went close and gross, where we went right and where we went sideways. So I feel like 2024 is going to be a lot of that. A lot of, okay, well, here's what you wrote as this was the question. Here's what you wrote as your answer. Let's check to see if it matches the answer key. And it's either going to match or it's not going to match. And I am feeling the acceleration of those downloads now, of more and more things becoming clear. I would say that's what's coming to me right now, is the sense of that realization from thinking about something and then knowing that something is what it is. Like, moving beyond belief. A lot has been reflected back about that word belief, of that it has the word L-I-E in it, lie. So it's very curious. Believe. I'm still trying to figure out, what is my perception on that word? I'm doing my best to refrain from using the word, because all speaking and writing is casting energetic. I do feel like I know a lot of pop culture, so I feel like that is needing to be, like, integrated into this experience, because I feel like when people use words like magic and I feel like even manifestation is starting to become a situation where people are becoming turned off by it. Like, they're kind of becoming desensitized by these words or activated by these words because they think it's some sort of witchcraft. And really, the power is in the fact, in the knowing that each and every person has the possibility, the quantum possibility, to use their mindset to determine whether or not saying things like writing and saying out loud the things that one wants is witchcraft. And I really just want to call it energetic management. I'm being mindful of what I'm saying. I'm being mindful of what I'm thinking. I'm being mindful of what I'm writing, to manage my energy to be in the direction of the things that it is that I'm bringing in. And that's not just material. That's also, like, emotional and energetic stability all around. And I feel like the content history that I have is really to support with alternative words that aren't going to elicit a certain particular connotation, because I noticed that a lot of people, even if they don't on the surface, like, and I say surface in the sense of like how they label themselves, even though the labels are different, the content and the foundational intention is very similar. And I'm just sort of like, come on, everybody, let's get together, because we're all saying, like, the collective is collectively saying very similar things in different ways. And I totally understand this because it is meant to be. Okay, I had this thought yesterday. I'm going to finish up with this. I had this thought yesterday, and then it was reconfirmed in a very curious way. So I was having this thought of, there's so many religions and beliefs and spiritual practices and ideological practices and philosophical implementation. And I was thinking in my head of, because I have become more comfortable with the direct communication with Source and the intergalactic families, I have just sort of allowed myself to just experience whatever it is that I'm going to experience. And that's also like in conversation. So I think that the universe is hysterical. I think that laughter and music are just the most direct ways that Source communicates generally. And because of this, I have put on the more lighthearted, funny sense of communication. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, Source, does the intergalactic family, like, is the intergalactic family taking data, behavior data on planet Earth right now? And a lot of the work that I do as a grant writer is that we always have to collect demographics. It's always like demographics. So I was like, are they literally just like taking the demographics and trying to figure out which quantum possibility of, based off of different data sets and different labels, Earth-side labels rather, and then trying to figure out like, okay, what is, like, they're trying to figure out, like, when they come through the portal and come Earthside, of like, what do they want to do? What do they want to expect? Like, if they choose blah, 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 then that means that these are the outcomes that are going to be. And these are the experiences. And these are the lessons that they can learn from. Because I'm also thinking of like, what was it like for my soul to choose the contract before coming here? And I think that it was just like a giant menu. And it was like, okay, where do you want to live? Where do you want to be born? Where are places in the world you want to live? And it's just like, picking through the list. And then it's just like, okay, here's the contract. Kind of like like an advanced medical directive or a psychiatric advanced directive of like, where you go through every single category of your life, so that if you become incapacitated and you can no longer have, instead of giving, like, this is also like a real, gosh, I don't remember her whole name. It's like Neff, N-E-P-H. She says, okay, we're going to have a real commercial break. And so does, I think, Queen Cups Tarot. She says something like that. We're going to have a real commercial break here because this advanced, this is not medical, financial, or legal advice, or even healthcare advice. This is just like, these are documents that as a peer, I can say, like, go check this out. The advanced healthcare directive and the psychiatric advanced directive are all for the purpose of, if there is a crisis in your life, you can already pick out all of the things that you want to be done should you be declared by a doctor in any capacity of whether or not you can or cannot make sound choices for yourself. So like in these documents, it will say like, I think the most common example would be DNR, do not resuscitate, like deciding that, because you might not want to be resuscitated. However, if a person does not have this legally written out, which is like, I think both of them require a notary check with your local, one could search on Disability Rights California to learn, no, not that. Well, that is for California if you live there. The other one is NRC, I think, like National, gosh, I can't remember. You can just look up advanced healthcare directives. And then they'll, by your state, to figure it out. And you go through, because I think it's just like notaries, you can go through and choose all these different categories. Because if you do not have a document such as this, then if something were to happen to you, that means that whoever's like your next in kin, and if you don't have one, the state, you would, I think the process is that you're like then under the state's care, the government's care. They're going to do whatever they think is right for them. So any case, back to the intergalactic family. So, because I was thinking about what did my soul do to get here, like how to pick the contract for the things to experience on the way back to unification with Source and one in the brotherhood, and which is unconditional love always in all sentiments, that there's this menu. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness, it's been 46 minutes. I do like to chit chat. I also like to eat lunch, and I'm kind of feeling a little bit hungry right now. I just want to see if there was anything that I wanted to bring back about it. Okay, I did my side tangent about the Advanced Healthcare Directive because I was saying the behavior data. So taking the behavior data to see like what's going on. So then yesterday I was watching another Oracle Bay 444 video, and no, it wasn't her. It was when I was listening to, I think maybe she was saying something. However, maybe did she say? No. Okay. The other thing was the Black Magic 363 when I was watching with Vicky. She was talking about being a part of the intergalactic judicial system. And I think she literally said like legal pad, like they come down with the legal pad taking notes. And I was like, what a curious confirmation, because I was literally been having like contemplating this idea of the intergalactic world, intergalactic family, watching humans and taking like getting all this data to determine like what's going on. And then here she's talking about taking notes, intergalactic spirit guides, ancestors, whomever, taking notes to, again, this is tying back to the speaking. And yes, this is coming back because Vicky was talking about that in her experience, they were taking notes on a legal pad of what it is that she was saying. And that sense of the words and the writing going beyond this dimension and having real energetic consequences, repercussions, positive or negative, however, that flows for you, of being mindful of that. And that's something that I've definitely been doing, is being very mindful of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, and really trying to be in a positive rather in a deficit or in a negative connotation, because what I say will manifest. So for me, it's really making sure that what I am saying is in alignment with my highest self and not coming from a different frequency, a lower frequency, because that would be a delay in the experience. So summing it up, this little nugget, gosh, I really just like having these streams of consciousness. This hermit mode that I'm coming out of, this gloom that I am experiencing and moving through, it's just something that I didn't expect. I didn't expect, and I'm not really sure why. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I'm not sure why I'm having the experience of it just feels really magnified right now, this sense of releasing. And I'm not certain if it's feeling that way because it really is actually like a higher magnitude and intensity of this reflection, or if it's just more noticeable now because of where I am in the frequency that I'm in. Am I having this experience simply for the fact that I'm aware in a different capacity. So as I'm moving through these things, I'm like recognizing that I'm addressing them rather than drinking them away or having being promiscuous or binge eating, which is always a work in progress, the binge eating, and like any other of my maladaptive or over gossiping, like whatever my previous self maladaptive behaviors were, are no longer numbing me to the experience of what I'm experiencing, because I'm fully aware of like, oh, I am in a shift. I'm in this transitionary period. I'm not in my old frequency. I'm in the beginning of the new frequency. And this is the continuation of the recalibration as my world is continued to be colored and be designed based off of this new frequency. Because that's something that I want to add about the gates. Like that momentum that is like all from today, from the very first day that I popped into Earthside, all of that conditioning is what I'm stopping in order for the new reality to become what it will be. And that's a lot of momentum just behind me, just flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing to come to the point in time to say like, okay, I'm gonna choose different, and then continuously choosing different to change that frequency as the other one is slowing down, to allow for the other one to rise up or to take over, or whatever imagery works best for you and your world of, okay, I know that at some point, all the latency, all of the reactions, all of the consequences, repercussions, positive, negative, manifestations, whatever the words are to that are resonant with you, to come into the current reality, knowing they're coming. The faith, that's the faith. The faith is needed now more than ever in the gloom. Because this is the beginning of the maintenance part, I feel. This is what I'm feeling. This is what's downloading to me now. Is the faith portion is even more important now than ever to remember. Because it's like, I've come this far. I didn't come this far just to come this far. We're going to keep going. Because now the faith is needed that the colors are going to slowly, like there's going to be pops of color. Now the color is going to be more and more consistent because I have invested the time, the energy, the mindset, the choices enough times that I've built up, I've changed the ratio from the old behaviors to the new behaviors or mindsets or whatever it may be, that now the new self has more and more and more, a higher ratio than before. Like I've done I've contributed and invested the same amount as what all those other mindsets and behaviors were. And now the new behaviors are continuing to surpass. That's where I'm at. This is the changing of the energies. And the faith is important to remember that even though it has felt like, oh, it's been a really long time, I feel like I'm still doing this. Like, what's going on? That this is the time to keep faithing it because the consistency is here. Now we're in the maintaining. It's here, it's dropped in. We know that it's present, the manifestation. Now we're going to continue moving forward to have that maintenance, to then be able to multiply exponentially from this new mindset, this new energetic baseline. So even during the gloom, this is the time to faith it the most. And that's for myself as much as it is that I'm sharing out of that remembrance, that reminder of like, okay, all right, like I can see. And I think that's also like, I know that the gratitude is super important here as well, because there was a lot of